ready?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, everybody. Let's call this meeting to order. Everybody needs to get up, remove your hats. Remember, we're saluting the flag of the United States of America, which has nothing to do with the government of this state. Mr. Clerk?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God of the universe, look thou with favor upon these here assembled, and bestow thy guidance upon the members of the governing body in their deliberations. This we ask in thy name. Amen.
I want to start by saying thank you to our military for all the work that they do out there in order to keep us safe and free. But the problem is not just out there, the problem is also here. So although we don't have a military here, we have a hell of a police department. And I want to say thank you very much for all the stuff that you guys have accomplished in the last 24 hours. Gentlemen. In the event of an emergency, the proper method of exit in the council chambers is through the 3 doors in the rear of the room. Occupants should proceed down the staircase at the front door and move away from the area of the front steps. Any member of the public wishing to speak during the public comment session at the end of the meeting, please sign in on the white sheets provided at the front of the room. Please turn off your cell phones or place them on vibrate. If you must take a call, please leave the council chambers. If your phone rings, I'll be collecting them. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mrs. Ormond.
Here.
Byer.
Here.
Brown.
Here.
Brooks.
Here.
Cosby Hurling.
Here.
Sadowski.
Here.
Strano.
Here.
Yamikaitis.
Here.
Medina.
Here.
Hickey.
Here.
Mr. Alvarez.
Here. Approving the minutes of August 16th, 2016.
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to approve the August minutes and seek a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond.
Yes.
Byer.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Cosby Hurling.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Strano.
Yes.
Yamikaitis.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Hickey.
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez.
Yes. We have a few presentations. First, we would like to start with Ms. Councilwoman Yamikaitis and the mayor and Councilman Sadowski. Please come to the front. Also, I would like to call Mr. Jeffrey Krowicki, Linden Marshall for the Pulaski Parade, and his daughter, Ms. Polonia Alexandra Page Krowicki. A little history, Mr. Krowicki and I went to school at the same time. He graduated before me, though.
Okay. I'd like to call up Mindy Kuzniak also. She's a member of the executive committee, our secretary for the Pulaski Parade Organization. It's with great pleasure that I am able to give these resolutions this evening to Mr. Krowicki, and his daughter Alexandra cannot make it here this evening. She's in college. But this year we have our junior miss from last year, his other daughter. So she's going to accept the resolution for her sister. She was our junior Miss Polonia last year, and she served our committee very well. Did a great job on in New York last year. We're looking forward to having her come back as a Miss Polonia in the future. So, Madison, I'm going to read you the resolution for your sister Alexandra Page Krowicki. Whereas the General Pulaski Memorial Parade Committee of St. Teresa's Linden Incorporated recently crowned Alexandra Page Krowicki as the 2016 Miss Polonia to represent Linden at the annual Pulaski Day Parade in New York City on Sunday, October 2nd, 2016. And whereas Alexandra is a 2014 graduate of Cranford High School, where she was a varsity member of the volleyball, basketball, and track teams. Whereas, while a high school student, she worked part-time for the Cake Boss and for the Westfield YMCA, where she coached 2 of her students to a national competition of javelin throwing. And whereas Alexandra is currently a junior at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, pursuing a degree in business with a specialization in marketing, with the goal of obtaining employment in a marketing position in the sports industry. And whereas Alexandra is a member of the Kappa Delta as well as the American Marketing Association of New York and New Jersey, and is an avid traveler and enjoys attending Broadway shows. And whereas Alexandra is proud of her Polish heritage, coming from a family with a long history of participation in the Pulaski Parade, with her great-grandfather Jacob Krowicki being Grand Marshal in 1953, her grandfather Jacob Krowicki Jr. was Grand Marshal in 1985, and was one of the original founders of the Linden Pulaski Day Parade Committee, and her father served as Elizabeth Contingent Marshal in 2010 and Linden Contingent Marshal in 2016. And whereas the Mayor and Council of the City of Linden are proud to have Alexandra Page Krowicki representing the City of Linden as the 2016 Miss Polonia at the annual Pulaski Day Parade in New York City. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and the Council of the City of Linden that they do hereby congratulate Alexandra Page Krowicki for being selected to 2016 Miss Polonia to represent the City of Linden at the Pulaski Parade in New York City. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be entered into the minutes of the Council of the City of Linden, and a copy hereof be presented to Alexandra Page Krowicki in recognition of her prestigious honor, and signed the Mayor and Council President Derek Armstead and George Alvarez. So, Madison's a great little sister. She's accepting this for Alexandra. So, once again, I want to congratulate her also on her reign as Junior Miss Polonia last year. So, you want to say anything?
Sure. From my other behalf of my sister, thank you for letting me accept this award.
You want to take a picture? We're going to take a picture with you, Madison. Move this a little bit. Yeah, move that over. Maybe you know how. Okay. Okay. Now it's with great privilege that I get to give this resolution to our Marshal for 2016, Jeffrey Krowicki, who is very well known here in the City of Linden, takes care of many, many families, and just is a great person all around helping people out continuously. So, with no further ado, Jeffrey, whereas Jeffrey B. Krowicki has been selected to serve as the 2016 Marshal of the 79th Annual Pulaski Day Parade in New York City on Sunday, October 2nd, by the General Pulaski Memorial Committee of St. Teresa's Linden to represent thousands of Linden and Union County residents of Polish descent. And whereas Jeffrey B. Krowicki moved to Linden in 1970 when his father, Jacob, established a Krowicki-McCracken funeral home. Whereas he attended Union Catholic High School, then graduated Lynn University, Boca Raton, Florida, receiving a degree in business management, and then graduated the American Academy McAllister Institute of Funeral Services in New York City. And whereas, upon graduation, he joined the family business, becoming the third-generation licensed funeral director, and became a member of the Krowicki-McCracken Funeral Home in 2012. And whereas, Jeffrey is the son of Jacob and Blanche Lutak Krowicki, and is married to Jenna and has a blended family of 5 children, Alexandra, Jacob, Madison, Thomas, and Victoria. And whereas Jeffrey and his family have had a long association with the Pulaski Parade, with Father Jacob serving as Marshal for Linden and Elizabeth, and as Grand Marshal in 1985. His grandfather, Jacob Sr., served as Grand Marshal in 1953. His daughter, Madison, was Linden 2015 Junior Miss Polonia, and Jeffrey has also served as Elizabeth Marshal in 2010. And whereas Jeffrey B. Krowicki is also the past president of the Essex Union and West-Huston Funeral Directors Association, is a member of the New Jersey Funeral Directors Association, the National Funeral Directors, the Polish Legion of American Veterans Post-91, Linden's Knights of Columbus, the Ukrainian National Association, and is an associate member of the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge Number 46, New Jersey State Law Enforcement Officers Association, 200 Club member, and a New Jersey Honor Legion. He also currently serves on the Linden Housing Authority as a member of the Linden Social Services Board. Whereas it is proper and fitting that Jeffrey B. Krowicki be recognized for the honor bestowed upon him to represent the city of Linden and its Pulaski Day Parade contingent at the 79th Annual Parade in New York City. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and the Council of the City of Linden that they do hereby congratulate Jeffrey B. Krowicki of being selected as the 2016 Linden Pulaski Parade Marshal, and be it further resolved that this resolution be entered in the minutes of the Council of the City of Linden, and a copy be presented to Jeffrey B. Krowicki in recognition of the foregoing, and is signed by President of Council George Alvarez and Mayor Derek Armstead. Congratulations, guys.
I would just like to thank the Linden Pulaski Parade Committee for the honor, and the citizens and the city of Linden for the honor of representing you as your marshal for this year's 2016 Pulaski Day Parade in New York City. And it's with great pride that I accept this. As you see, my family's been doing this for many years. And we will be marching October 2nd. If anybody would like to join with us, the buses are leaving St. Teresa's Church that day at 10 o'clock. All are welcome to celebrate that day. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Take care, Madison.
Second presentation, we have the mayor, Councilwoman Yamakaitis, and Councilman Medina, please come to the front. We have a celebration of 100th birthday for Bernice Bedrick. She's not here presently. Would like the mayor to read the resolution before we present the second one.
No, this is not Bernice's.
Yep.
This is hers?
This is her.
Okay, gotcha. Good evening, everybody. 100 years is a long time. Mrs. Bedrick, when we first began to prepare her resolution or her proclamation, it was 3 pages long. So she's accomplished quite a lot in her 100 years. But we downsized it to 1 page, and I'm going to go ahead and read it. This is a resolution honoring Bernice Bedrick on the occasion of her 100th birthday. Whereas Albert Schweitzer said, "I don't know what your destiny will be, but one thing I know, the only ones among you who will really be happy are those of you who have sought and found how to serve." And whereas September 29th, 2016 will mark the 100th birthday of a person that has fulfilled her destiny in the manner prescribed by Albert Schweitzer, through service to her community And whereas Bernice Bedrick was born on September 29, 1916, to the late Dr. and Mrs. A.J. Grojesk in Jersey City. Whereas her exceptional academic abilities began with her entering the Bergen School at 5 years of age, and then throughout her academic career, highlighted by her graduation from high school at age 16 as valedictorian after skipping a year of high school. And whereas she continued her education, graduating summa cum laude with a degree in bacteriology and chemistry, and later in 1956, her master's degree from New York University College of Education. And whereas her first employment found her working at Newark's Beth Israel Hospital, conducting research with Dr. Philip Levine, who helped develop the Rh blood factor, and whereas Bernice Bedrick began her teaching career, a career that touched the lives and hearts of countless Linden students at School Number 5 in Linden, 1950, transferring to McManus Junior High School, becoming the supervisor of science, and later, principal of School 6. And whereas her many accomplishments are not limited to her academic achievement, in 1941, she formed the Linden section of the National Council of Jewish Women. She organized local women to record, which is taking books, for blind adults and children, a program which was later expanded statewide, and whereas she established the Linden Mental Health Clinic, starting a program offering employment to the mentally disabled. She was the founder and former president of the Friends of the Linden Library in 1956. She was named Woman of the Year by the National Council of Jewish Women in 1994 and 1995. She was listed the Who's Who of Science and Engineering in 1995 and 1996, Who's Who of American Education, and was Linden's Outstanding Senior of the Year in 1996 and 1997. And whereas in 1938 she married Emanuel Bedrick, in 1938 she married Emanuel Bedrick, is the proud mother of Jane and Alan and grandmother of James Eric Abels, and whereas it is proper and fitting that Bernice Bedrick be recognized for having sought and found how to serve her community at the time of her 100th birthday. Now therefore it be resolved by the Mayor Council of the City of Linden that they recognize Bernice Bedrick for the amazing person that she is, her service to the community of Linden, and congratulate her on the occasion of her 100th birthday. And be it further resolved that this resolution be entered into the minutes of the Council of the City of Linden, and a copy presented to Bernice Bedrick in recognition of the foregoing, and signed by George Alvarez, Council President, and myself, Derek Armstead, Mayor. And congratulations and happy birthday.
Thank you, Mayor. This time, we have another 100th birthday celebration. I guess 1916 was a good year. Mr. Close, will you come up, please? I feel so young.
Bring him a chair or something? The chair. Absolutely. You can hold on to me if you like.
How are you, sir? How are you? Happy birthday.
Good evening, everyone. It's a great honor that I read this resolution honoring Arthur on his big milestone, a big accomplishment of 100th birthday. So, here we go.
My daughter and her daughter put together. See what they put down for me.
Not a problem. I'm gonna read it now. This is an exciting evening. So I'll begin. Whereas Arthur T. Close was born in Elizabeth, New Jersey on October 3rd, 1916, and whereas he began his career as a chemical engineer with Esso Standard Oil, now Exxon, in March of 1935, interrupting his employment to serve in World War II, serving in the U.S. Coast Guard aboard the USS Greensboro from January 23rd, 1943 to October 8th, 1945, then returning to Esso, where he retired from in 1981. And whereas on June 21st, 1941, he married Dorothy Elizabeth Thompson and is the proud father of Catherine, Linda, and Kenneth, grandfather of Charles, Karen, and Brian, and great-grandfather of Charles, Kenneth, Dylan, and Emma. And whereas, despite the demand of everyday life, Mr. Close find the time to assist his fellow citizen by volunteering at Union Hospital until it closed, and Rawway Hospital for 32 years, for 50 years with the Linden Hilda Gold chapter of Deborah and played an integral role in the construction of Grace Episcopal Church, now St. John the Baptist Episcopal Church, where he also served as the warden, and whereas his commitment to bettering the lives of others drove him to be an active member of the Elks, Freemasons, and the AARP, and whereas the life and services of Arthur T. Close has been recognized through the many awards that he received, including the Rawley Hospital Humanitarian Award in 1986, the B.N. Brith Citation for Meritorious Services in 1988, City of Linden Outstanding Senior Citizen of the Year Award in 1985, as well as numerous award and recognitions from Deborah, and whereas it is proper and fitting that Arthur T. Close be recognized for the special mark he has made on the lives of his fellow citizens at the time of his 100th birthday. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the City of Linden that they recognize Arthur T. Close for the amazing person he is, his service to his fellow citizens, and congratulate him on the occasion of his 100th birthday. And be it further resolved that this resolution be entered into the minutes of the Council of the City of Linden, and a copy be presented to Arthur T. Close in recognition of the foregoing. Signed, Council President George Alvarez and Mayor Derek Armstead.
Okay. Am I talking into it right?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. Well, council and people out here are going to be very surprised at what I'm going to tell you. But my ninth ward and the 300 block used to be the 10th ward. And when there was a 10th ward, I was a committee man, and a Democratic committee man, say that, yeah. And they used to vote at my house. We used to get the voting books from the courthouse in Elizabeth and take them back again. And they don't have they didn't have any machines at that time. And my councilman at that particular time was Paul Yaisley, and he was a teacher in the high school. That's one thing. Now the other. My priest used to come to the house to give me communion every so often on the weekends. And I had all these different plaques up on the wall, all the awards. And he told me, he said, how about telling me about them? So I did. And after a while, nobody told me. He said, Artie, you don't know how to say no. So coming to it, my daughter here and her husband, Schaefer, never refused me anything, and I was glad for that. And across the street, I had his name is Fred. I can't think of it. What's your last name? Yeah. They used to have their kids do volunteer work. So they take my recycle and put it in their garbage can, and because I can't take it out to the street. So he also, in the wintertime, he would take the snow and shovel the snow for me. So anyhow, the city owns 3 feet in after your sidewalk. And there I'm surprised because they can take care of the sidewalks in the summertime, but they can't take care of the snow in the wintertime.
Gotta work on that.
Okay. So anyhow, I moved into Linden September 29th, 1949. That's 69 years ago. And when I first moved to Linden, I paid $500 in taxes. Now it's way out. So, I belong to different clubs, and they give me life membership there. So council back here ought to give me a life membership on my taxes.
That's good.
So anyhow, that's a lot I could tell you, but people don't want to listen to all this stuff now, and I think I said enough, and I appreciate my daughter and my granddaughter. She's, my granddaughter is, what do you call it, a top nurse. She's, you know, these doctors have two initials sometimes after their name. She got 4. She's got 4 initials. She goes all over and teaches all these different things like stroke victims and whatnot. So anyhow, I think I talked enough. I could have talked more, but you don't want to listen to any more of my gab. So thank you. Oh, now the mayor's going to tell me something. Right.
I got it.
Mayor, did you hear everything I said?
Every bit.
Back there? Okay, remember that. Okay.
I'm going to talk to these guys about lowering your taxes.
Okay.
You deserve to have them lowered.
All righty.
At this time, we're going to have the mayor, Councilman Medina, and Councilwoman Yamakai show us their library cards. Can I have somebody from the library please come up? Dennis Purvis. Mr. Purvis is here. And Ms. Viviano. Who? Yes, I call him.
Okay. All right. September is Library Card Sign-Up Month. Everyone here should have their library cards.
Mr. Close does.
Okay, yes. He should get a lifetime membership. Okay, so I'm going to read the resolution for the library. Whereas the library card is the most important school supply of all, and whereas libraries play an important role in the education and development of children, and whereas library programs range broadly from getting every child ready to read and school preparedness, to homework help and building research skills, to books to build the imagination and access to materials on a variety of subjects, to programs to entertain and programs to learn. And whereas librarians offer digital and traditional literacy training to help students of all ages. And whereas libraries continue to transform and expand their services in ways that meet the needs of communities they serve. And whereas a free library card is the most important school supply of all. Therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council of the city of Linden do hereby proclaim September Library Card Sign-Up Month in the city of Linden, New Jersey, and encourage everyone to sign up for their own library card today. And it's signed George Alvarez, President of Council, and Derek Armstead, Mayor. Here you go. Yep. Move that over.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome, my dear. Okay. Congratulations, sir.
At this time, I would like to know, a show of hands, how many people have library cards? That's about 60%. Is that okay, Ms. Viviano? No, okay. Can I please have Chief Parham come join the mayor at the front? And Kenneth Mikolajczak? Thank you.
Hey, what's going on? How you doing, buddy? Good. I guess I'm reading this one. Okay. We have a, good evening, everybody, once again. Tonight, we have a resolution honoring Detective Kenneth Mikolajczak as the 2016 Police Officer of the Year. And I'll tell you something, it is well-deserved. You know, every now and then, you know, you'll have a case that comes across your city. And it's unusual, very difficult, and then you have these guys who step up to the plate. Kenneth stepped up to the plate, worked tirelessly. And he'll tell you, I'm here late hours. And who do I see when I'm driving out of the building? I still see him outside, you know, sometimes smoking a cigarette. Okay, but I know he's working. You know, he's working, and he worked tirelessly on this one case. It was Tyrita Julius. We had a woman who went amiss in Linden. And just as I talked to him, and he was explaining to me what he was doing to try to solve the case, it is nothing more than miraculous and amazing what he accomplished. And I want to thank him personally, you know, as the mayor, as a friend, for the dedication that he put in to that assignment. And I know the Julius family, although you'll never get over a loss like that, I know they're thankful for the hard work that he put in to solve that crime. So, without any further ado, I'm going to read this resolution, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Resolutions say one thing, but when we feel from our heart, it's totally different. A resolution recognizing Detective Kenneth Mikolajczak as the 2016 Police Officer of the Year. Whereas on November 24th, 2015, officers were dispatched to report of shots fired. Upon arrival, officers observed a vehicle that had crashed into a utility pole. The vehicle was occupied by two females who were each suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. Whereas Detective Mikolajczak led the investigation into the shooting, several months later, one of the victims was reported missing from Monmouth County. Detective Mikolajczak suspected that the cases were related and worked closely with detectives from Monmouth County's prosecutor's office. And whereas Detective Mikolajczak dedicated thousands of hours to build a case as he interviewed dozens of witnesses and suspects, filed multiple warrants and subpoenas, and combed through thousands of pages of records and phone records. And whereas after nearly 10 months, Detective Kenneth Mikolajczak received approval to charge two suspects with attempted murder for the shooting. Following their arrest, Detective Kenneth Mikolajczak interviewed the suspects, where they confessed to killing the victim. Now, therefore, it be resolved by the City Council and the City of Linden, we hereby recognize Detective Kenneth Mikolajczak for his highly credible and exemplary performance of his duties, and hereby recognize as the City of Linden's 2016 Police Officer of the Year. And it's signed by President of Council George Alvarez and Derek Armstead, Mayor, myself. Congratulations. And thank you.
I would just like to thank the City of Linden, Mayor Armstead, and the entire governing body for recognizing me on this day. It is truly heartfelt. And I'd also like to say that I'm proud. No, I'm extremely proud to be part of both the Linden Police Department and this wonderful city of Linden. And with that, once again, thank you, and God bless.
I just want to briefly add, for this momentous occasion, if everyone could just take a moment and think about your sister or your mother or your daughter, and think about how much you love that person. And then I want you to think about your sister and your mother, and think about how you would feel if they were shot 5 or 6 or 7 times. And think about the emotions that you would carry with you from that day for the rest of your life. And then ask yourself, who do you think you would want to investigate that shooting? Would you want a person who just showed up to work and left when it was time to clock out? Would you want a person who just showed up to work every day and said, hey, it's 10 o'clock, I'm going to take a break. 12 o'clock, I'm going to lunch. It's 5 o'clock, I'm going home, and they didn't really care? Or would you want someone who put their heart and soul into that investigation? Well, Detective Mikolajczyk did that every single day. He is the type of man that you would want to investigate your sister or your mother or your, God forbid it should ever happen, your daughter's shooting. That is the type of man that exemplifies excellence. He is the type of man I, as the mayor said, am proud to call friend. And I'm actually very, very proud to work with him. I learn from Detective Mikolajczyk and others like him every day who work in the Linden Police Department, as you've seen in the last couple of days, last couple of hours. Very, very proud to be the chief of Linden Police Department. Very, very proud to call these men my friend, men and women of the police department. And just think about, God forbid you should ever have that happen to you or happen in your city. You have the men and women who would give 100% on every single day, 24 hours a day, to make sure that we bring those people who've committed those horrific crimes to justice. God bless them. Thank you.
Next presentation is Ariana Moore, Miss New Jersey. Is that Junior Miss New Jersey or Miss New Jersey? Junior?
Junior teen. Oh, you have to, well, wait, you have to come up. You have to come up. Just want to make a little comment before I read the proclamation. Ariana, first of all, I've known her family for years. Ariana came into my office a couple of weeks ago, and she came in and she introduced herself. I've noticed that she was little, but she came in and she told me that she was Miss Junior Teen. And what really struck me more than anything else during the whole event was talking to her little sister. And her little sister said to me, I'm going to be just like my big sister. It just touched my heart. So, you know, when we do things, we have to realize that our little brothers and sisters, our cousins, and little people all over are watching us, and we're setting an example for them. And she's so proud of you, and I'm proud of you too. And it's just a wonderful thing what you're doing here. So without any further ado, we have a proclamation from the mayor. That's me. It reads, whereas Ariana Moore was born on May 8th, 2000, and lives in the 3rd Ward of Linden, New Jersey, and has many accomplishments in her 16 years of life. And whereas Ariana Moore attended school number 9, Seoul Middle School, and is presently a junior at Linden High School, where she is an honor roll student and participates in the Learn and Serve program. And whereas Ariana Moore is a very active young lady who participates in 2 athletic sports. In the winter, she is a member of the girls' varsity basketball team, which she loves to play, and learns new moves and techniques to help explode to the basket in order to score. And during the spring, she plays girls' varsity softball. And whereas Ariana Moore is currently Miss New Jersey 2016 American Co-ed Junior Teen, and she will be representing the state of New Jersey in the national competition at Disney World during the Thanksgiving break. And whereas Ariana Moore has been competing in pageants for the past 4 years, thanks to her grandmother, who signed her up for the pageant in Newark, New Jersey. And like the saying goes, the rest is history. And whereas Ariana Moore loves competing, dressing up, and feeling like a princess, and she works very hard to prepare for all the upcoming pageants that she is in. Some of the ways she prepares is by mastering her walk and turns, She practices public speaking in the mirrors at home, and she also holds conversations with different age groups to practice her diction and to make sure her grammar is used properly. And whereas Ariana Moore's dream is to one day attend college and become a Disney animator, her motto is just believe. That if you believe in yourself and in your craft, you will succeed. And she was very excited and looking forward to the journey ahead of her. Now therefore therefore it be proclaimed that I, Derek Armstead, Mayor of the City of Linden, in the state of New Jersey, on this 20th day of September 2016, do hereby proclaim that Ariana Moore be recognized for her outstanding accomplishments thus far, and congratulate her and wish her the best of luck in the future, and is signed by me, Derek Armstead, Mayor of the City of Linden. Now, before I give this to her, I want you all who are watching to understand that it is not cheap to travel to Florida. Our young people need a little help. So, if anybody out there in TV land is watching, you can call my office. As we have already made a donation to help her get to Florida, we'd like some of the people in our great town to help as well. Very easily, my office is upstairs. The number is 908-474-8493. We want her to get there without incurring a lot of problems. We want her to have a good time. So keep that in mind, everybody. She deserves it.
All right, thank you so much.
Oh, you gotta come up and say something. I'm sorry.
I just want to say thank you to Mayor Armstead and the City of Linden. It was a great honor to be accepting this award this evening. And it's also a great honor to be representing this town of Linden and to be representing the state of New Jersey as your Miss New Jersey Junior Team 2016. Thank you.
That's it? We're done?
Continue from the meeting of July 19th, 2016. Ordinance 6050 will remain tabled. Ordinance on hearing. This is the date and time established for the public hearing for ordinance on hearing. Mr. Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-60?
Bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $66,000 for acquisition of computer equipment for various non-public safety departments and authorizing the issuance of $62,700 in bonds or notes of the city for financing part of the appropriation.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anybody that wishes to speak on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
-60 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-61?
An ordinance to amend Chapter 2, Administration of the City of Linden. Delete Section 2-8.3, Qualifications of Article 3. Add new Section 2-8.3, Qualifications of Article 3.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wishes to speak on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, I ask that the hearing is closed and we adopt ordinance 6061, and I ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
No.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
No.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Absolutely.
Sadowski,
No.
Strano,
No.
Yemakaitis,
No.
Medina,
Yes.
Hickey,
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Mr. Clerk, can you please read 60-62?
An ordinance to amend an ordinance establishing a schedule of titles, salary ranges, and regulations for maintaining the classification and salary standardization plan of all employees of the city by adding Schedule 4-KK6.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, I ask that the hearing is closed and we adopt ordinance 6062, and I seek a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
No.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Mr. Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-63?
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 5, Animal Control, of an ordinance adopting and enacting the revised general ordinances of the City of Linden. Add Section 5.5-5.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wishes to speak on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, I move that the hearing be closed and ordinance 6064 be adopted and request a second.
Second.
63.
64.
He didn't read 63, he read 64.
Okay, let's do 64.
Sorry.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Clerk, can you please read 60-63?
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 6, Traffic, add 7-33.1A, handicap parking on street. Name of street, 321 Ashton Avenue, spaces 1. From the northeasterly sideline of Ashton Avenue, 270 feet more or less southwesterly from the projection of the curb line of East Linden Avenue in front of 321 Ashton Avenue for a length of 22 feet. The aforementioned said space is specifically reserved and designated for a vehicle for Carlos Chamos to identify by license plate number and placard to be issued by the city, and no other vehicle bearing or displaying handicap license plates and/or placards or not shall be permitted to park in such space.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Does anybody wish to speak on this ordinance? In that case, may I have a motion, please?
Council President, I move that the hearing be closed and ordinance 6063 be adopted and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-65?
An ordinance amending Chapter 7, Traffic, that Chapter 7, Traffic, Section 7-13, parking prohibited for street cleaning and maintenance shall be, and the same is hereby amended as follows. Add street, style street, both sides, 7 a.m. to 12 p.m., Monday and Tuesday, from West Curtis Street to West St. George's Avenue.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wishes to comment on this ordinance? In that case, may I have a motion, please?
I move that the hearing for ordinance 6065 be closed, the ordinance adopted, and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-66?
An ordinance amending Chapter 2 of the City Code as follows. 2-12, Department of Police, Section 2-12.1, adding 1 deputy chief and increasing the complement of police officers.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, make a motion for the passage of ordinance 60-66 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Mr. President, I'd like to make a comment.
Yes.
Last month, I'm for increasing the complement. I'd like to see it go up to 152, matter of fact, not just 150. But I'm against hiring a chief of police. So I have to say no, because you bundle it into one package. So I say no.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Council President,
Yes.
also a comment. I'm in agreement with moving the contingency up to 152, but I'm not in agreement with the deputy chief, so I'd have to say no.
Cosby Hurling?
No.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yamikaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
No.
Hickey?
I'm also in favor of making additional complement to our police department, but however, I am voting no to the deputy chief.
Mr. Alvarez?
I'm in the same boat. I want to put more foot out there, especially with what happened yesterday. We need more help out there. At the present times, no, I don't think we need a deputy chief, so I'm going to say no.
The ordinance is defeated.
Mr. Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-67?
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7, Traffic, Section 7-22.1, four-way stop intersection shall be, and the same is hereby amended as follows. 7-22.1, four-way stop intersection. Add East Blanky Street and Maple Avenue. Stop signs to be located on East Blanky Street and Maple Avenue and East Blanky Street.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wishes to make comments on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, make a motion to table the ordinance till next meeting.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yamikaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. That's the last one. The consent agenda, all items listed with asterisks are considered to be routine by the city council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member or citizen so request, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda, items 1 through 7. Does anyone wish to remove an item? May I have a motion for the whole consent agenda, please?
Yes, Council President, I'll make a motion for the approval of consent agenda 1 through 7 and ask for a second.
Second?
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown? Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yamikaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. At this time, we're going with the committee reports on comments from the members of the governing body. Let's get started with Councilwoman Orman, please.
Thank you, Council President. First, I would just like to congratulate the Linden Police Department on an outstanding job yesterday. We hear of horrible things that happen throughout the country, and Linden is not exempt from certain things that happen. It was just wonderful to see our police officers, shine like rock stars. They did an excellent job, and I would just want to say that I am so proud to be a citizen, a resident of Linden, and have such a wonderful police force in our city. We've heard some things that were not so good, but this is one of the things that put Linden on the map, and like I said, I'm just a very, very proud citizen in the city of Linden. Just also want to just remind everyone that school is back in session. If you don't know already, it is back in session, and there are children all over the place, in between cars. They don't always go to the corners, so I'm just asking everyone to be mindful. Please slow down and keep your eyes open for the children. Also, I'd like to thank Chief Parham and the Linden police officers that attended our public safety meeting this month. Councilman Brown and myself hosted a meeting at the Linden Library for our residents, so they could come and meet the chief of police and then ask any public safety questions that they may have. We had a great attendance, and I was very happy to see so many people come out that are really concerned not only about cameras, but just the overall safety of our community. We have posted the meeting on our personal Facebook pages, and it's going to also be posted on First Ward Friends and Family, Linden's First Ward spelled out, and Linden's First Ward with the number and ST. You'll be able to see that meeting in its entirety posted on those particular Facebook pages that I host, and I believe Mr. Brown has it posted on his as well. Or you can go to YouTube and you can view it as well. But there were some wonderful questions that were asked, and Chief Parham did a wonderful job at addressing them. Last, well, no, not even last, but I'd also like to take the time to thank our DPW department, especially Mr. Tyrone Gibbons and his summer help. They did an excellent job painting the curbs in our areas and did a lot with the crosswalks around all of our schools. While we did not get to 100% of all the curbs, the most critical ones were taken care of in most of the wards. And I personally see a marked improvement with the parking and being able to turn corners, especially around the high school. So I just wanted to extend my sincere thanks and gratitude and appreciation for a job well done. A lot of people are asking about Pathmark and what's going to happen with Pathmark. And that's just going to be one of the only areas that I touch on in terms of the redevelopment. There really isn't much going on, but we have some companies that have expressed interest. At one point, it was Key Foods that fell through. And last but not least, we did hear that Wegmans did express an interest. It's nothing in the works on a serious note, but the interest was expressed. And I'm committed to working with council and mayor and the Revenue Enhancement Development Committee to get a supermarket there because it is so needed in that particular area. And I'd also like to say that my fall newsletter will be coming out in the next couple of weeks, so be on the lookout for it. I'll be hand delivering them. My contact information will be in that newsletter as well. But I want to encourage everyone to please reach out to me via email or either text message so you can be added to my distribution list. It's so much easier to shoot everybody an email when something critical happens in town, or when there's an emergency, or just when there's some good news to share. It's a lot easier than trying to walk, ooh, my goodness, that huge ward. So I do encourage everybody to please reach out to me, whether it's about your trees or anything. If you just would like to say hi, I welcome all of your calls. That concludes my report, Council President.
Thank you, Councilwoman. At the beginning, you mentioned about the incident. You want to let everybody know we got notes, even from around the world, from Sweden. You didn't know that? Yeah. To add to the Councilwoman, we got notes through our website, you know, saying that the police did a good job. Linden did a very good job. And the furthest one that came through was all the way from Sweden. So we might have somebody from Linden living over there. Councilman Byer.
Yes, Mr. President, I have a report here from the construction code. For the month of August, they issued 246 permits, 116 certificates, and they generated $205,103. We got a little ward news, second ward. A little good news. The Lacquer building that's on Elizabeth Avenue, the old abandoned building that's been abandoned and dilapidated for the last 20 years, had a lot of activity going on there. 8 months ago, a person committed suicide in the building. Well, anyway, we finally got some people interested in it. They want to purchase our property. There's 2 developers. They're having a little bidding war. We applied for grant money to have that building taken down. Now that grant money won't be needed. And we're going to have the developers do the cleanup, the tear down, and really looking forward to getting that project on the way. State funding, the East, West Elizabeth Avenue, West Blanky, and West Henry Street were supposed to be repaired with grant money from the Department of Transportation. The grant money ran short. All federal projects stopped until the money can be refunded, get built back up again. They're talking about getting that money from gasoline tax, which they're talking about raising shortly. And then all these projects will be underway again, East and West Elizabeth Avenue, West Blanky, and West Henry. I just gotta say, how many towns can say they caught a terrorist? They caught a terrorist. That's unbelievable. I gotta put my wishes and my get wells to Angel Padella and Peter Hammer for a speedy recovery. They were the police officers that got hurt in the arrest. And Linden Police Department, you're doing a fine job, excellent job. Keep up the good work. I'd like to get that compliment up so you have more help, more feet on the street to fight crime. And like the council president said, we're not only getting recognized nationally, we got recognized worldwide. We had emails to our city website from out west congratulating Linden for the fine job. We had, like he said, it was Sweden congratulating Linden's police department for doing such a great job. So that's the end of my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Brown?
All right. From the Budget and Review and Finance Committee, approval is requested for the following finance actions. The payment of bills totaling $3,042,0279 have been signed by the Mayor, Council President, and Finance Chairman, and a detailed check register and vouchers are on file in a clerk's office. Item number 2, we are in receipts of the investments made by the City Treasurer for the month of August at a rate of 0.15%. I move for approval and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
No.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm going to talk about Third Ward News next month, but I do want to talk about the police department. Like my colleagues on here, we're all going to congratulate the police departments for the fine work that they did yesterday. But I will also want to talk about how a lot of times our officers are doing work out there that the public does not see. And what happened yesterday just goes to show that our officers are very diligent, and it wasn't an occasion that happened just yesterday. And sometimes when you see this negative press out there about our police officers, it hurts me because I see some of these guys, how hard they work every day. During our community meeting, I want to thank Captain Parham for showing up. And I've said it publicly during that meeting, I say it here, is that my job on council is to give him the tools and resources he needs in that department to do a job. And I know with this new police chief, he's looking to initiate a lot of brand new ideas, one of which is the ordinance that was voted down as far as having a deputy police chief. I don't want to speak for him, but I can speak for myself as why I supported that while people spoke why they were against it. I was here when we had that position, and I see how it, some of the issues of not having that problem is now. Being finance chairman, I could tell you, I looked at the numbers, and the total cost of promoting a captain to deputy chief with health benefits, salary, and everything else like that is $19,000. To me, when the police chief asks for something and he's trying to turn around, not his department because there's problems, but initiate ideas that he's learned that are best going to serve Linden. He asked me for it, I'm going to do it. A lot of what's going on with the police department is great that we don't hear in the public, and I'm very proud of our department. I'm always going to support them, whether it's myself here on council or as a private citizen, and I asked other people too as well. We have a great department, and I'm very proud of the guys that we serve, and I just want to end on that note.
That's it? Anybody want to speak up at the Third Ward?
I'll do it next month.
Thank you, Councilman Brown. Councilman Brooks?
Thank you, Council President. Good evening. I'll start with my report that's coming from our traffic division. You know, I make this report every month. It comes from Mr. Tyrone Givens. I hereby submit the monthly refinance report for the Division of Transportation and Parking. This report includes a collection of on-street parking meters, railroad parking lots, railroad parking permits, merchant parking permits for the month of August 2016. New York side collections, $4,138. Trenton side collections, $5,948. Credit card transportation, $26,564.53. Parking meter collection, $17,399.20. Railroad permits, $965.84. Merchant parking permits, $44.56. Grand total, $55,060.13. With the technical part being done, let me also say that I am equally proud as everyone else, as I'm sure who spoke before me, and I'm sure who will eloquently speak after me with regard to our police department, our police chief, all of our police officers, speedy recovery to those who were injured. And again, it is not just their injury, their families as well, because I work with a young lady whose son is a new police officer, and she was in a complete panic. So as some of you know, I work for the Linden Board of Education, and we were on what we call shelter in place, which would be lockdown. Nobody in, nobody out of the building, so I sat with her for quite some time because she just could not find out exactly what was going on. So it is not just the officers who were injured, and again, speedy recovery to all of them, but their families as well. Also, we talk a lot about helping, about Linden being a helping kind of a city. It is just as gratifying to me that one of our residents came outside and saw this person and reported it. Didn't just ignore it. Saw a person, reported it. That's exactly what we do in our city. That's what we should be happening in every ward in our city, everywhere. See something, report it. That gentleman walked outside, saw something, saw someone sleeping there who he knew should not have been there, made a recognition because of what he saw, and reported it to our police department, and hence we were able to move forward again with the most professional situation that I know of. Granted, I'm relatively new, but as far as I'm concerned, I don't think I'll see very much better than what I saw and what's coming out today. And again, although I'm speaking a little bit, I'm sure that it will be much more eloquent as we go down the line. And I would just venture to say, I would piggyback on everything that's going to be said and what has been said already. With regard to the Fourth Ward, I want to thank everybody. August 28th, I had my second annual meet and greet at Dr. Martin Luther King Park. Was able to give out 50 gift certificates, $50, 10 $50 gift certificates, 10 $20 gift certificates to Modell's and some other sporting goods places to defer some of the costs the families had with regard to school, supplies, clothing and stuff like that. And I'm sure the mayor will talk about the book bags, which came the following day. So it was all great. And for those of us who made a full weekend out of it, all great. I loved every minute of it, and fully expect to be able to do it again. And all of those, thank you for attending. Also, at Dr. King Park, I can now say, well, more than confidently, that in my last conversation with the director of public property and community services, we're probably talking about repairs starting on or sometime in the area of March, hopefully a little bit before that. We are talking about the paving portion of it now. So we're talking about the basketball court, the entrance to the paved entrance to the park, the park walkway through the park, all of the paved areas. We still have to be involved with the renovations at the far end where the children play, the renovations on the other end where we have the workout stations, and Dr. Martin Luther King Park Workout Station happens to be one of the busier ones in the city. So I'm looking forward to that. So those of you who are talking to me, believe me, I am as excited as you are about it. Keep in mind, once it starts, you will not be able to use it. So everything is done in terms of our obligations over the summer. The summer programs ran great. They're done now. Let's go about the business of starting the renovations with the park. So I can't thank everybody involved in that enough. And Council President, I'm sorry, 908-406-8537. I can be reached there. And as much as, we text and all of those kinds of things. I like to talk to you personally. 908-406-8537. Feel free to call me, grab me. You know, big guy, basically you can't miss me. So when you see me, just pull me by the shirt. If you need to talk about something, I'll be more than happy to. If you miss me and you see that old blue car, you know it's me. Give me a call. More than happy to talk to you. There is also a resolution 2016-320, that also speaks to the renovations that are going to be in the park in terms of the dollar numbers. So pay attention to that as well. Thank you, Councilman Brown. Greatly appreciate it. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilman Brooks. Councilwoman Cosby Hurley.
Thank you. I have a couple of notes here. We had our Fifth Ward Community Cookout in August. We had lots of volunteers. I want to thank everybody who came and showed their support for the Fifth Ward. We had residents from all over the city, and it was a good event. Special thanks to the fire department for coming out and cooling us down. And our Let's Move activity was a walk around the park. It was supposed to be 2 miles, which is 4 times around the park. So some of us did a half a mile, some people did a mile. It was a good event, though. So we want to focus on getting people moving, and that's what the whole idea was for the Let's Move activity. I'm going to give some dates, and please save these dates for October. October 20th is a regularly scheduled community meeting, and we're going to have a guest who is interested in securing the empty lot that is in the 5th Ward on St. George's Avenue that would start a development project. So I spoke with them, invited them to come and to hear from the 5th Ward residents as to what our vision is in compliance, of course, with the city's redevelopment plan, and see what they are willing to offer and what they can do for us in the 5th Ward, because we need something there. It's been vacant for a long, long time, and it's better to get some property taxes than none. So they're gonna come October the 20th at 6:30. The location is the John Street Recreation Center, so we start at 6:30. We'll also be celebrating Hispanic Heritage as usual in October. October 22nd, we're going to do a cancer awareness walk, and a portion of the $25 registration fee is going to go to cancer research, to a local cancer research organization. The registration is on Eventbrite for October 22nd. We'll start walking at 9 o'clock. We're going to be at IOZ Park in the 5th Ward, which is at 1400 Dill Avenue near the senior complex. And we hadn't planned anything like this, but as I was walking and talking to people, you know, other people have said to me, we don't really do anything to raise awareness. I know that since I've been on council, we got breast cancer awareness, and Nancy Gomez, she actually does something internally for the city, and she raises awareness that way. But this is just another opportunity for us to get together, celebrate those who have conquered and beat cancer, and honor those who have, you know, succumbed to cancer. We recently lost a dear woman in our neighborhood, you know, and cancer touches everybody. So if you know, consider attending the event. I know that it is kind of short notice, but it is October 22nd. We're going to be walking, and it's a 5K, which is 2.5 miles. So if anybody's interested, give me a call. 3.1.
5K?
Well, my math was bad. We're doing 2.5 miles. That's enough. Yes.
5K is 3.1.
Okay, Council President. Shh, you're making my report longer. Okay. So we're going to do it, and my number is 908-718-7933, or you can send me an email. Registration can be done through the mail, or you can go on Eventbrite and do the registration. We're asking people to register in advance so that we can have the appropriate number of snacks and everything for everybody who comes. Voter registration to vote in November ends October the 18th. If you have a new neighbor or someone who recently is turning 18 or will be 18 before the election, they should register to vote immediately. October 18th is the deadline. You can print a registration form off and just mail it in. This is a very important election, and I can't stress enough that every vote will count. from the top, presidential, all the way down to the local here in the municipality. So check the candidate's record, get the information for yourself. Don't go by hearsay because the person who's telling you this is telling you it because they want you to vote a certain way. The only way to get the truth is to see it for yourself. Watch the candidates in action, and you make a decision. So, September to Remember is coming. Is that this weekend? Wow, it's this Saturday, and we're going to have a table there as usual. We're going to have from 11 to 3. Hopefully, we'll be in the nonprofit section near City Hall. We're going to be giving out information for healthy foods. We're also going to be registering people for the walk. I know there's another booth. I can't remember what the cultural committee said it would be, but they will be doing voter registration at September to Remember as well. Just a side note, please, if you want to get a small tree seedling, they're going to be given out free by the Shade Tree Commission on September to Remember. Get one, plant a tree. We are Tree City, USA for 10 years? And that's awesome. I wanted to let everybody know that we have hay rides at the Warrenico Park on the 30th of September. We had one last week, and it was great. A lot of people can't get to the Watchung Reservation, so it was a good chance for the County Recreation Department to bring it to us in this vicinity, and I was actually there, and it was a great event. So the people who came were from Linden, they were from Elizabeth, and they wouldn't ordinarily participate. So I think it's a wholesome event. The tickets are $6 for Union County residents, and you should purchase them in advance, but if you don't, September 30th, you can go to Warrenico Park in the front and sign up and just join the hayride there. The Pulaski Day Parade, I was looking forward to going because Jeff has his business in my neighborhood, and so we're neighbors, and I think it's an awesome thing that he's going to be the Grand Marshal. Unfortunately, my son has jet tickets, and I'm going with him, so what I'll do is I'll sponsor 4 tickets on the bus, and if anybody wants to go, I guess the first 4 people to contact the committee, use my name, and you get to go on the bus on me. So the tickets will be sponsored, 4 tickets, and the ride is the 2nd of October to the Pulaski Parade. I don't have anything special from the 5th Ward, but I do want to say, without disparaging our DPW department in any way whatsoever, we're asking the public for their patience with the street sweeping because we do know that there's an issue with the delay in the entire city. So we did have a sweeper come in the 5th Ward today, grateful, but there's a delay. We know that they're trying to schedule the entire city with only 1 truck. So here's a little tip. This is what some of my older neighbors are telling me. We just sweep in front of our house. While they're complaining, they still sweep in front of their homes, and the street sweeper's not gonna come, unfortunately, and we know that. Until we get another one and we get somebody to operate it, we'll go back to our regular schedule. Fall is coming, the leaves will be down, so they're not gonna come anyway. But the trick is, we take care of our property and it makes the whole neighborhood just look good and we feel better. So we appreciate what you guys can do with the 1 truck, but boy, we wish we had another one. All right. Okay. I have a report from the Personnel Committee, and the copies are in the front if anybody wants to have a question before we go through it. Before I start, though, I have to take one item off, which is number 6, letter B. It's the permission to post the Director of Public Works. I wasn't at the meeting last night, and this item actually was presented last month. We asked for an opportunity to read the ordinance, understand the ordinance. The Public Works Committee put it up last month. Our committee actually went over it and moved it up to be voted on tonight, but for a reason that was not disclosed, because doesn't have to be according to the person, they want another 30 days to review language in the ordinance that they presented last month. So we'll do that. We'll give you another 30 days. But just so we're clear, our superintendent retired in August. We knew he was going, and we're using people to do this job, and God forbid we should get an audit of some sort saying I'm doing this work and I'm not holding appropriate titles. So we're gonna give it another month. So that one's going to be removed before we vote. Number 1, hires. We're going to do Asia Fazion as a confidential aide in the office of the mayor effective October the 17th at a salary of $37,000. Curtis Humphrey as a part-time public works inspector per diem in the engineering department, $14.42 per hour, effective September the 21st. Thomas Gassler, part-time per diem public works inspector for the engineering department, $14.42 per hour, to begin September 21st. Valentine, I'm going to spell his last name, Koltunowicz, per diem public works inspector for engineering at $14.42 per hour. This is retro 823. A lot of people are aware that one of our inspectors, Mr. Johnson, had fallen ill, and we do expect him to make a full recovery. However, the business of the city had to go on, so we have to retro this person for August the 23rd, and we hope you get better soon, Elijah. Haran Anderson, laborer tier 2 with public property at $14 per hour, effective October the 5th. Mosimo, his last name is spelled Rapisarda, laborer tier 2 in public property, $14 per hour, effective October the 5th. Seasonal hires for recreation, public works. We don't have any for public works, but we just have for recreation. Our Sola Hooper, recreation leader, $12 an hour. She's going to be at the LMPC. So we have another woman there, yay! So we have some activities hopefully going to be planned over there, effective September 20th until March 31st, 2017. George Moret, recreation leader, he's going to manage the soccer program. Then we have FMLA, NJFLA, employee 000182, intermittent FMLA from August 10th until November 10th. Employee number 106909, FMLA intermittent March the 2nd until April the 4th. Employee 000129, FMLA intermittent September the 6th until January the 6th, 2017. Employee 908991, intermittent FMLA May 18th until November 18th. We're going to publicly advertise the following positions. Clerk 1 in the police department, full-time position. It's the clerk 1 caused by a retirement. This is an entry-level position. There is no civil service exam, so the applications will be accepted through our normal process. There's one thing that I do need to mention in our committee. There was a mention of accepting the appropriate credentials for people for positions that are hired. And that recommendation came from one of our members, and I appreciate that because that's what it's for. And the appropriate authority, Mrs. Zach, agreed that going forward, we're going to request transcripts and or certifications with applications so that we can expedite our vetting process for the applications. And this year, we actually put in place the requirement for the very minimum education for any city position where it does not explicitly say they must have a high school diploma at the least. So for this position, there's nothing special, but anyone who's applying needs to provide their high school transcript or a copy of the diploma to be considered. And that's going to be on the announcements for all jobs going forward. And then we're going to do publicly advertise for a parking enforcement officer. That's the people who write the tickets throughout the entire city. And we're going to re-advertise the position of recreation supervisor because there was a miscommunication and people were turned away from the application process because they didn't possess a certain degree. In the civil service world, you can have a degree and or a certain number of years of relevant experience for the job. Therefore, we wanted to make sure that all of the city residents had an equal opportunity to apply for this position. The people who are still being, that were being considered are still going to be considered. However, it's important that we do show that we're giving equal opportunities to all of the Linden residents. So that is the report, and I'm gonna move that for adoption and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Orman? Hold on a minute. Hold on, Mr. Clerk.
I did. I offered that in the beginning. Well, we got a motion on the floor.
It hasn't been seconded.
It was second.
It was second, the roll call started already.
I'd be happy to answer that public comments, Mrs. Malik. There's a motion.
Yes, please.
Okay.
I didn't hear you.
Sorry, that's all right.
For 1A, the confidential aid, is this in a complement to the two individuals already working in the office?
No, one of the individuals a number of months ago, I want to say it was May, no longer was with. We accepted her separation from the city.
That was
Mrs.
Renee.
Banks, yes. So this person, the mayor chose, and he's appointed, and this person will be there as long as the mayor's there. So this is not like a,
Because like when I go into the mayor's office, I see someone sitting at Renee's desk, so is that only a temporary person?
there was a floater who was helping. but
Oh,
the
okay,
mayor
so
has
it's still
now-
just going to be
he's
the two
appointed.
individuals, not one more in addition to the two that are
No,
sitting
ma'am.
there?
The office has a certain budget. He has two positions that he has, well, actually three, because he had the $1 driver position. But these two are going to be full-time in his office. Well,
The two that I see in there, so this is going to be another one in addition? Good, okay, thank you.
Okay, we already had a motion and a second. Mr. Porter, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Harling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yamakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Abstain on 1F, yes to the remainder.
I'm sorry. 1
F.
Since Frank.
Mrs. Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
Okay. I know I'm still talking about personnel here, and I wanted to just say that our committee is doing a lot of work, and we've announced several times that we're doing initiatives with regard to educating our staff members. The supervisors went to training today, and the department heads, and they're doing like a supervisors training series, so I'm excited that they're increasing their skill sets, and we're gonna have, you know, more efficiency, more accountability, and those are the things that we expect from the managers of the city. And so the employees also will have training to help them do their jobs better. I said all of that to say that there was an amendment that we had last month, and it was adopted tonight, and it went through our committee, as is our policy. And I wanted to, again, thank our members of the committee. Councilwoman Yamakaitis, when we were going through our deliberations, she recommended a master's degree if the business administrator did not have a BA plus a certificate in public administration. So these are the things that our committee, we're doing. We're actually taking real consideration, and we're digging in, and we're doing stuff, meaningful things. So again, I want to just say that our committee's working really hard to get this city where it needs to be, and I'm looking forward to the BA position because it will be posted and re-advertised now that the amendment is there, so that we can get someone who has relevant experience, and the mayor can, you know, pick the candidate, and we can get this city going with, you know, management at every level. So that's all I have to say. Those are my comments.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Sadowski?
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. I just have a few announcements. This is from the city. The following licenses, permits, and transcripts have been issued by the city's clerk's office during the month of August 2016, and the fees received have been turned over to the municipal treasurer of the city of Linden. There were 89 birth, death, and marriage transcripts. That was $1,335. 27 marriage civil union licenses, $81. Domestic partnerships, none, no money. Miscellaneous revenue, 6, $14. Bingo raffles, nothing, still zero money. EDRS, vital statistics, 178. City revenue, $2,670. 7 burial permit fees, $35. Interest earned on the money was 65 cents. Total, $4,136.25. Total for the whole month, was $4,811.25. The City Clerk Licensing Division is submitting this monthly report for the month of August 2016. This office issued 46 dog licenses and issued 52 miscellaneous licenses and collected $1,411. Now to the Sixth Ward meeting. Coming up, this was brought up already, this Saturday is the September to Remember, I can't remember, it's September to Remember. It's a good time for everyone. I know I talked to the senior citizens. If anyone is interested, I'll be sitting in a dunk tank at 2 o'clock, so come at 3, please. Towards the end of the month, September, beginning October, the fire department will be calling or asking Sixth Ward residents if they need fire detectors. They will be doing that on their own. If you need something right away, please give me a call, and I'll get to them. My number is 908-862-0749. So if you want one right away, give me a call. Or if you have any problems, please give me a call, and I will certainly go to your house and listen to you. They are still trimming trees, and they are still fixing streets in the Sixth Ward, so please, it will be done. If it was put in and we told you it's going to be done, it will be done. Just started 2 weeks already, the men's club of the city of Linden. It's the men's club, and since we started in 2 weeks, I think we got 3 new women to join. So if you're interested, it's a fun time. You can meet friends there, you get your coffee and your donut, and you have a good time. Excuse me, no, it's not. Go 10 o'clock. Oh, yeah, any person, as I walk towards, some people call me up, anyone needing registration forms for the election or absentee ballots, please give me a call. I will bring them to your house. I can do that since I'm not running. There'll be no problems. And finally, with the happenings of this last week, I guess I am proud to be a Linden resident here and a member of the board. The police, fire, and OEM people acted perfectly. I give my thanks to the 3 people who got hurt: Angel Padilla, Peter Hammer, and Mark Kahana. Give them a vote of gratitude for what they did. It gets to me a little because, like I said, I have 2 sons in the police, one here in Linden and one in the sheriff's office. So each time they go out, things can happen. So once again, thank you. That ends my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Strano?
Thank you, Council President. I want to echo the accolades that my colleagues bestowed on our police department and the job they did yesterday. My wife and my grandson were involved in the school lockdown, so it was a tense few hours that we spent there. And again, I want to congratulate them. But my sentiments aren't hollow. You know, as I do support our new chief and his request to continue to build our police department into the best department the city has ever seen. That's why I supported his quest for a position of deputy police chief. And also, defeating this ordinance delays the increase of the police department complement and getting more boots on the ground that we sorely need. So some people felt that wasn't important enough to pass due to the deputy chief position being created. That's all I'm going to say about that. In my ward, and the big deal we've been facing with for the last couple of years is the railroad crossing on Lower Road. The plans were submitted as reported by our engineer, George Verchik, and we're awaiting a response and acknowledgement and acceptance of those plans. one of our consultants is also working, trying to get a grant from Conrail to defray some of the labor costs that are involved. Keeping my fingers crossed, hoping that construction can start sometime soon. There's a couple of caveats that are involved that are going to make it a little bit more of a cumbersome process, but I'm hopeful that we'll get that accomplished. Also, I would like to report to the residents in the 7th Ward that the Bayway Refinery, which is now Phillips 66, is planning on doing a project, a shutdown, retooling, and refitting of their plant. There's some new equipment coming in. I believe they're bringing a new cat tower. I don't know if some people may have been inconvenienced by some of these large pieces of equipment that have been shipped in from, I believe this one piece was built in Kentucky, traveled down the Mississippi River, came through the Gulf of Mexico, up the East Coast, landed in Port Elizabeth, and from there was placed on a barge, brought up the Rahway River, floated onto the Weldon dock in the Rahway River, and then brought up Style Street, down Route 1. It's an amazing project. A lot of things had to be moved out of the way, but that's going to take place. That turnaround, as they call it, it's going to take place in February. Problem for us in the ward is that it's going to bring in 900 outside contractors. So you can imagine what the traffic conditions are going to be like. I plan on sitting down with our chief, our police chief, to make sure that the residents in the 7th Ward are as minimally impacted by that increase in workers coming in as we possibly can, because I know a lot of these contractors have a bad habit of taking shortcuts once they find them, and creates problems, especially since the school is going to be in session when this is going on. That's all I have to report for this evening, Council President, and in my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Yamikaitis?
Thank you, Council President. It was a great day in Linden yesterday. Despite all the horrific news we were watching, it was nice to see our Linden Police Department shine. I want to congratulate them on a job well done. I had the September 11th vigil 2 weeks ago, and during the vigil I had mentioned, some people say, why do you keep doing, some towns were not doing the vigils anymore, and it's a perfect example. Our country, we have terrorists right here on our own soil. We need to be vigilant. We need to all step up to the plate, look out, report things you see. So once again, I want to thank the Linden Police Department and all involved in keeping us safe. Great job. From the Fire Committee, the Fire Prevention Bureau collected a total of $6,255.61 for the month of August 2016. The ambulance reimbursement systems collected a total of $66,927.85 for the month of August, adding to a total deposits for 2016 of $452,262.77. Fire Prevention Night will be held on Friday, October 7th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., and this year it's going to be held back on Wood Avenue. They used to do it that way years ago, but this year, the promenade, they're doing some work there, so it will be in front of City Hall. We encourage all of you to come out and learn about fire prevention, and the fire department, once again, is planning a lot of great activities for families and children, so please come out. Again, that date is October 7th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. From the Health Department, registrations for flu shots is now open. Residents 60 years or older, or those residents with chronic illnesses, please call the Health Department at 474-8409. You must pre-register for this program. The Pulaski Day Parade, as mentioned before with our Marshal Jeffrey Krawicki, is October 2nd. Tickets are $10. We encourage all of you to come out. The buses will be leaving St. Teresa's. We're not sure of the time yet. Mr. Krawicki had to run back to, they were having the New York meeting tonight where all the final plans are being set, so they should have a time. We have a Facebook page for the General Pulaski Committee, so you could go there and look up if you need more information. But to get tickets, they're $10. You could call Sue Lukenda at 338-1855, or call St. Teresa's Rectory to reserve a spot on the bus. We're moving forward with Park Plastics. On tonight's agenda, we have an ordinance amending the bond ordinance adopted by the council on August 20th. This is an ordinance for the demolition of Park Plastics. Currently, the city is proceeding with the foreclosure on the property, and we have had several developers interested in the property. Our LEDC director, Rich Buchel, and the mayor have been working diligently with our city planner and our attorneys to rid the city of some of these eyesore abandoned properties like Park Plastics and United Lacquer. So I want to thank them. They're making these places a priority. It's not always about making money, and the properties like this deteriorate neighborhoods, so we need to get rid of them and move forward. Repaving has started by the gas company to repave areas of the streets where they were digging to put in new mains. Currently, they're working in the 8th Ward on Allen Street and the dead ends of Ogden and South Broad. They are only going to repave the streets in the area that were dug unless the streets have been repaved within the last 3 years. So please watch out for street detours and things like that, but the streets are getting fixed again. I was asked to mention FOLIS, the Friends of Linden Animal Shelter, is having an Alex and Ani fundraiser on September 26th. That's the little bracelets that a lot of people enjoy. That's a Monday evening, September 26th, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Westfield store, which is located at 200 East Broad Street. 15% of all purchases will be donated to FOLIS from the event. And again, those hours are between 6 to 8 p.m. Tonight, my name was mentioned during the personnel report by one of my colleagues. I want to make mention, I serve on the personnel committee. A lot of things don't even make it to committee or the agenda. I want to say, I'm not going to be bullied by anyone. I'm being reported on how I suggest ideas in a committee, possibly. I have a right to vote the way I want to vote, and I will not be interrogated by anyone. I wanted to make mention, tonight, we had a personnel report read, finally, in the past 2 months. I asked why? Why'd the change again all of a sudden? Maybe we don't have any relatives or political appointments on here. So I reserve the right to vote the way I want to vote, and I serve on a committee to do the best that I could do, and I reserve the right to read over things and decide how I want to vote. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilman Medina?
Yes, good evening. Yes, thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. Just want to quickly echo what my colleagues have mentioned here on the dais in reference to our police department. What an amazing job they did the other day, capturing that the individual that's related to those incidents. Our police department, always been proud of our police department, and is glad to see them shine. And they did an amazing job, and they will continue to do an amazing job to protect us all and serve the city of Linden. I also want to thank the chief and the mayor that did a great job addressing the media, answering any questions that they had, and keeping actually everyone updated through Facebook and whatnot, and again through the media. So they did an amazing job at addressing any questions through the media. And then there was an ordinance here for the deputy chief and increase a compliment. I did not comment before I voted, but I am definitely in favor of increasing our compliment. Last night, I looked at the chief and I told him, you know, chief, you have my support on this ordinance. You know, but when I went home and just thought about it and let it just marinate a little bit more, it just didn't make sense to me. I'd like to see this department grow and revisit the position at a later date when we have an increase of manpower. At the end of the day, I feel safer with more boots on the streets. And that's just my opinion, and that's why I voted the way I did. I'm hoping that next month we'll have some form of an ordinance back on to increase the police complement. It's unfortunate that it was bundled together, but I hope to see that in next month's council meeting, because I do want to see the department grow. At the end of the day, it will It'll be a betterment and advantageous to the city of Linden and its residents. I do have the library report. I think I have two of them here, but I'll make it brief. Every month, there's a library fundraiser at a restaurant or diner on Wednesday, October 5th from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Linden House Diner. 10% of all sales will be donated to the Friends of Linden Library. You must get a flyer from the library and present it at the time of your bill for the 10% to be applied to the Friends of Linden Library. The founder and former president of the Linden Library was honored on September 17th with a cake and party for the 100th birthday. Touch a Truck will be on Saturday, October 22nd between 10 and 3 p.m. It's $3 per child. Linden Public Library parking lot. Again, all this information can be found at the library. Council President will talk about the murder mystery. Also, stop by the Children's Room and see the fall lineup of programs from various book club around the world, map club, Lego club, writing club, and terrific toddlers. There's sure to be something for you, for your young ones. Movies continue to be shown at the library as well. The schedule can be located at the circulation desk, Facebook, or the Linden Library webpage. Okay. Also, Linden Library will host a blood drive on October 17th, 12:30 to 6:30 on the 3rd floor. So, hopefully you jotted that information down. If not, you could definitely obtain this information and the schedules at the circulation desk at the library. Following that, I just want to remind everyone, former Councilman Jack Sheehy, his fundraiser is coming up September 30th, 5:30, I believe 5:30 to 10, might be a little bit longer. But the monies raised will be used to help offset some of the medical expenses and funeral expenses. So I hope everyone can make it out. I believe they have 2 dinner sessions, but definitely the first dinner session at 5:30. Jack Sheehy was a man of his word, a man that would lend a hand without any questions asked, just to get you back on your feet and help you provide for your family. So I will definitely be there. I'm sure everyone here in the dais will be there as well. But I look forward to September 30th and helping honor his memory with this fundraiser. Also, we had several recognitions earlier today, but 3 of those people recognized were 9th Warders. So I was pretty excited to see 3 9th Warders recognized tonight. It kind of gave me goosebumps. We do have a great city with a lot of great people, diversity, and I love to see that when we come here to these meetings to recognize these individuals. Also for the 9th Ward, the tree crew has been out. They are tackling the tree list that I submitted, a nice lengthy tree list. They've been trimming. Some trees were taken down because they were hollow and dead. So I thank again the DPW and their team for addressing the tree issues throughout the 9th Ward. For me, that's been the biggest challenge in the 9th Ward, the trees. It's like I'm the guy that planted it there 60 years ago, and it's my fault that it's there. But at the end of the day, I just ask people to be patient. We do have a large city, 10 different wards. Every one of us have a request for trees or potholes or whatever the case may be. So we just ask for a little bit of patience. We will get around to it, and we'll do it in a timely fashion. Also, I will be sending out a lengthy email like I do every year because school is open. And in session, speeding, I'm going to request enforcement of the 4-way stop sign and enforcement of the speeding around the schools and parks. I do this every year. Prior chiefs have definitely entertained it and come through, and I will be emailing our new chief, and hopefully we can come up with some time frame and some timeline where he can get his team out there to enforce the local traffic laws. That being said, I don't have anything else for 9th Ward, but if you ever need to get a hold of me, phone number is 908-986-6100. You can email me at amedina at linden-nj.org, or you could text me, or you could download the Nextdoor app, which was designed by one of the residents and has everyone in the Sunnyside area. So it's mapped out geographically. So you can send out private messages through there, or even network to people. It's called Nextdoor. And it'll automatically pinpoint where you are geographically, and it'll put you right into the Sunnyside area. So definitely check out that app. It's a great app to communicate as well. With that being said, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Hickey?
Thank you, Council President. Let's see, starting from yesterday, what a day it was. I truly need to thank everyone that was involved, all our first responders. I was on the scene in the 3rd Ward with the Office of Emergency Management. Our fire department, they set up a tent for the FBI, for all the Union County, Linden, with snacks, with drinks. And it was just amazing to see how just everybody was there to make everything happen. And it was a well-oiled machine. We really have superb employees in our city. And unfortunately, many of them aren't given respect and recognition unless something terrible happens in the city, which I do hate to see. Yesterday did hit a little close to home. Some of you may know, my father was a Linden policeman. He was shot in 1983, so I lived that. Moving forward with that, I am very, very passionate about the police department, knowing what their needs are and what goes behind the scenes. On September 1st, we had our new chief sworn in, Chief Parham. I've already noticed such a difference in our ward, police presence, many different things, it's correspondence daily to everyone, and I'm extremely impressed of what he has done in 3 weeks. Getting to our vote on deputy chief, you know, we all have our own opinions, and it shouldn't be that any of us don't care about our departments because we don't vote a certain way. I just see it a different way. Chief Parham has been here as chief in 3 weeks. I don't think it's time to say that he needs a deputy chief, which is another rank, which is another file to fill, to cause more complications with our police department. In 6 months, or 3 months even, when he gets his feet wet instead of just his big toe and says, you know, I need a deputy chief, he has it, you know, and I will vote yes for it. But I'm not playing games when it comes to our police department. We are moving in the right direction now with discipline, with organization, with our changes in our departments, and I go by the heart and what is right for the residents. So being with that, OEM, they did an amazing job yesterday. They actually set up all the barricades. Office of Emergency Management is very important to me, and I want to thank them too personally. We had some paving done in the 10th Ward on Riverbend, Haven, Westover. Beginning of next year or soon, maybe even this year if I'm lucky, I'm trying to get Crescent paved from St. John's to, because it's a very, very busy road. Lots of kids, traffic. Other roads I had to hold back, like Princeton, due to gas lines that are going to be taken care of next year. So I know some people are upset about that, but any money that we get for roads, I have to budget it the best way I can to get the most for our neighbor, our ward, because many of them haven't been touched in a very, very long time. And I'm talking over 20 years, 25 years. On October 1st and 2nd, the 9th and 10th Ward will be having our garage sale. There's no charge for any permits. The council has agreed no charge. Councilman Armando and I have a new Facebook page. It's just not the 10th Ward and the 9th Ward because we're both posting pretty much the same things. So we have changed that to Linden's Sunny Side. Please join the page, recommend it to friends. We have a great helper, Dawn Beviano, who helps us keep things posted, many alerts, you know, very quickly. On Thursday, September 29th, the Chamber of Commerce will be hosting their annual Oktoberfest. I will be going this year. Usually I have meetings on that time, but I hear it is a wonderful event. Of course, the Chamber, any monies that they raise go to scholarships for our kids. They're great to our community. If you're interested in tickets, you can get in touch with Janet Miller. Her number is 908-447-8410, and that is on Thursday, September 29th from 5:30 to 9 p.m. On September 28th, the 9th and 10th Ward will be having our community meeting at the Presbyterian Church on Orchard Terrace. It will be Councilman Medina and myself. The meeting is from 6:30 to 8 p.m. We will have guest speakers, and we run a tight schedule. We try to get to as many questions as we can, but we do serve great pizza. Let's see. Finally, since I came into office last year, I've been asking for the curbs to be painted and the street lines to be painted. And because of wonderful departments, it finally happened this year throughout the city. And it really just cleaned things up. It gave kids opportunity to make a few dollars, learn the responsibilities of a job, and I was happy to see that. Detective Mikolajczyk, as he stood up here tonight, and he said how proud he was to be a Linden police officer. We're proud and honored to have him. His work is remarkable. I don't think there's one time I come into City Hall that I don't see him. And I think that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Mayor? Good evening, everybody. First, I'd like to just thank everybody who participated in the Mayor's Youth Commission's Backpack to School event. We gave out over 100 backpacks. It was a great event. There was free food and drink. Our corporate neighbors, CIC, Home First, United Way, faith-based partners, and Someone's Daughter, Linden Fire Department, and many others. I'd like to thank you all for your efforts. Again, we gave out over 800 book bags, and there was food and drink for all the children. It was just a great day for everybody. I hope that we would continue in that, with efforts like that. We all participate to make a great day or a great event for our children. I'd like to also mention and thank the Mayor's Youth Commission for the Buffalo Wild Wings fundraiser that event was hosted for our preschool handicapped children. PGK and the Linden Fire Department donated some audio books. Very thankful for their efforts. And again, we should continue. These children need our help, and we should do everything humanly possible to see to it that they have whatever help is needed. September 24th, we're having our September to Remember. It starts at 11 o'clock and will end at 9. We're hoping to have a great day. We're going to have a tremendous car show, a lot of fun, a lot of food, a lot of activities for your families and your children. Please come out and support. I'm going to talk a little bit about what a great police department that we have. You know, I am just touched by the way they responded and how they conducted themselves. And most of all, I'm thankful that the 2 injured officers are home safe with their families. At the end of the day, every one of these officers who goes out, you don't know whether they're coming home or not. It would seem like a very simple investigation to a possible vagrant turned out to be a person who was involved in terrorism. So when a police officer approaches an individual, you don't know, he doesn't know what he's going to expect. So again, I'm thankful that our 2 officers, Angel Padilla and Peter Hammer, are both home safe with their families. Again, I'm very proud of this police department. I didn't want to have to talk about anything negative with the police department, but I'm forced to this evening. And it's not the police department, it is what occurred on the council floor this evening. I'm very disappointed in my colleagues for voting no to a deputy chief. I'm disappointed in my 10th Ward Council person, Gretchen Hickey. I'm disappointed in my 9th Ward Council member, Armando Medina. I'm disappointed in my 5th Ward Councilperson, Rashana Cosby Hurley. I'm disappointed in the 4th Ward Councilman, Monty Brooks. I'm disappointed in the 2nd Ward Councilperson, Don Byers, and I'm disappointed in our Council President, George Alvarez. Because not too long ago, we had discussed in great detail how we could improve the police department. One of the things that we put out there was a police director. And at that time, all the individuals here agreed that we would go, they didn't want a police director, but they were in favor of the deputy chief. Okay? So we never got the police director. Things worked out in a different way for us, and I'm very proud that we have a new chief in Jonathan Parham, who I think can lead our police department, or this police force, in a very positive direction. I've often said that I don't have to be a rocket scientist to build a rocket. I just need to have a great rocket scientist next to me and work with him to have it built. In order for me to have a great police department, we have to have a great chief, and I think that we have that in Jonathan Parham. I respect his decisions. I respect his recommendations. And one of the things that he has recommended, that he have a deputy chief. Not because he wants to add an added layer of government. It's a tool that he needs to be able to effectively run his department. Now, his department is really, the only department that the mayor has a little oversight over is the police department. And, but he knows, and I've told him countless times, that I'm not here to interfere with him doing his job. He knows more about policing than I'll ever know. I think collectively, if you look at his resume, he knows more about policing than anyone in this room. I trust this man. I trust that he's going to move this police force, this police department in a good direction. If he needs a deputy chief, I think he should have a deputy chief. I don't think he's doing it because he wants to add a layer of government. We had Councilman Brown go over the financials, what it's actually going to cost us to have a deputy chief. $19,000, I believe, is the additional cost. Small price to pay for having a more efficient department. And I don't think that we're looking at this situation in its totality, those who voted no. You have to look at the police department and look at it from a risk management perspective. And in the past, we've had a few things that have cost us. It cost us reputation-wise, and it cost us financially. And here I have a gentleman who I've placed in charge of this department who is telling me what I need is a deputy chief. I need a little more oversight so that I could effectively run my department, so that we could deal with the risk management. And I'm just confident that he knows what he's talking about. I would ask this, and some of you have said that we can revisit this in 3 months. Okay? All I ask is that you give this man the tools that he needs to be able to effectively run his department. So I guess we're going to have to revisit this in a couple of months. That concludes my report. And no, I don't want to conclude my report. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our new chief's first council meeting. I'd like to formally introduce him to those who haven't known or just finding out. Jonathan Parham, who is our new chief of police. Would you please stand, Chief Parham? And again, I do apologize for having to bring up this on such when we had such a positive week, I think, in our police department. So that concludes my report.
As has been mentioned before, September to Remember is this Saturday. It was a great time last year. Everybody, please come out. Let's join our neighbors out there having a good time. I do know I will be with the pie throwing. We'll have that again this year. So if you want to throw a pie to someone that will be behind the wall, come have fun. Let's see if we can get some people from this council to join me up there. Also, September 20th. Oh, that's today, library report. Murder Mystery fundraiser for the Friends of Linden Library has been rescheduled until Friday, November 18th at 6:30 p.m. The event will be held at the Linden Library. Tickets are $45, which includes dinner and an evening of intrigue with a 1920s theme. Help find out who's on the level and who's on the lam by trading clues with guests and solving the crime before the murder hot-foots it out of the Mafia Don's loose SARS juice joint. You can contact Don Viviano at 908-298-3830, extension 17. That's 908-298-3830, extension 17, or stop by the Linden Library circulation desk to purchase your tickets. Last year I went there, and I didn't believe I was going to have such a great time. And we did. You go, they give you clues, you pass clues, they give you fake money. I think I even got married. You know, it was a great time. Food was very good, and everybody that was there had a very good time. It doesn't matter who wins or who loses. It's just a matter of helping the library and going out there and having a good time. At this time, we're going for resolutions. I will want to start with a motion to remove resolution 2016-307, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to make a motion to remove Resolution 2016-307 and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Public comments will be permitted for those specific resolutions to be removed from the consent approval. Please read the synopsis of the resolutions, which have been prepared by the city clerk's office. Each is informative and self-explanatory. However, if you wish to address a specific resolution, the council will entertain questions on it. Anybody wants to remove? Mr. McCulloch? What numbers? 301? 311? 319? 321? 322? 333? 337? 339. Anybody else? May I have a motion?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to make a motion to move the following resolutions with the exclusion of, resolutions 301 to 339 with the exclusion of 301, 311, 319, 321, 322, 333, 337, 339, and respectfully ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
I'm voting yes to all, no to 337, and I'm abstaining on 339.
We are not touching 337 or 339 yet.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ms. Malik?
Oh, there's another one I got.
Let's start with 301.
314, I need to abstain on.
Hold on one minute, please, ma'am.
Yeah. I have to abstain on 314. That's the Office of Emergency Management, since I did put in to be a volunteer, so I'm not going to vote on that one.
I also have to abstain from 314. Thank you.
Ms. Malik, it's all yours.
Thank you. The promenade's been around for a long time, so why is this resolution coming up now that we need this fencing?
Mrs. Sack?
No one knows the
I can
I mean,
check
it's-
with Mr. Director McDonald tomorrow. I do not know the exact reasoning why they have this resolution on the agenda.
Wasn't this in discussion in the caucus, or?
Yes. If you don't mind, I'll just kind of explain while we're doing that. Over the past few years, we've been receiving a lot of vandalism in the promenade area, and it's costing us a lot of money to clean it up. Graffiti, just things being destroyed. So if we put fencing around it, we realize that it would keep a lot of the people out that are doing the destruction, until it reopens for the next season.
And where would this fencing be? So we have the Motion Federal Credit Union, the concert place, but there's also the parking lot. So where will this fencing go?
To my
Seated area.
The seated area.
The seated area, because as per the director, that unless we're having a concert, that area is not being used. So if people are sitting in there, going in there, causing vandalism in that area, the only reason that it should be used is because there's a concert or something else going on. So that's the area that he's talking about fencing.
For $59,000. Do we keep our audio-visual equipment in there, or when there's a concert, all of that equipment is brought in? So basically, it's the seating area and the stage that's being vandalized. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Ms. Sackett, correct me if I'm wrong, this is coming out of a trust account, correct? Yes, so it's not costing you anything. So,
Well, that's a good point to bring up anyhow.
exactly. But it's what happens is that there was money dedicated to a prominent trust account that we have some money in. So the renovations, I want to make clear, is not coming out of the taxpayers' funds, but out of a trust account that was set aside years ago for these renovations.
And the trust account came from where?
Came from
Family.
the family, correct?
Correct.
Yes, so it's
Okay,
not.
the Bauer
grants or anything
family,
else like
whatever.
that.
Okay.
Came out of the family.
Gotcha. All right. Okay, if you have the wetland mitigation services relate to the landfill, name some of these. This is for the tune of $318,000, big chunk of change. Name some services that we're having. So this is separate from actually the landfill, but can you name some services that are going to be included in this money?
Mr. Voracek, can you tell us what's going on with the wetlands?
Yeah, last year, we received a proposal in the amount of $455,000 from the consultant for 8 tasks. There was only enough money to finance the first 4 tasks last year. This does the remainder. So they have to kill the invasive Phragmites. They have to do some grading in the wetlands area, which will be done by local 825 operating engineers, but CME will be doing the oversight. They have to prepare plans and permits with the state, and they have to test soil in the wetlands area.
All right, so when they came up with this proposal for the $455,000, did I hear you correctly saying that it was for like all the 8 steps? I mean, why was there such an underestimation of the money required to do this work?
No, there just wasn't enough money last year to pay for all 8 tasks, so we only financed 4 last year for $150,000, and this is for the remainder.
Okay, so the 455 was only for the four tasks.
The 4 remaining, well, no, it's
The
really,
4
it's only 350, whatever the resolution is.
No, no.
That's for the remaining tasks.
But the 445 was for just 4 tasks.
No, that's for all 8.
So my point is, how did they
What happened-
misestimate?
All right. They didn't
the
misestimate. What
estimation
happened is that the original contract was for about $450,000.
For 8 tasks?
For 8 tasks.
Okay.
And so the money's there. We're not appropriating any new money. Is basically what we did is said, once you get these 4 tasks done, then come back for the rest of the money. So this contract was approved for $450,000. It was just a matter of checks and balances, is that when they got through with the 4 tasks, we were then going to release the rest of the funds for the next group of 4 tasks. So it's not new money. This money was already appropriated. They just came back and said, you know what, you finished this 4 tasks, we need the rest of the money, the balance of the money, to do the other 4 tasks.
So you knew up front that was going to be
Yes.
roughly $800,000?
No.
It's 440.
Yes.
455, and they want another 318.
No.
Not to exceed,
We paid
inclusive
them
of
like
these.
$130-some-odd thousand. They're asking for the remainder
Rangers,
of
I
that.
gotcha.
For the
Fine.
4 tasks.
Good enough.
Am I explaining that right, Lex?
Okay.
319?
What is this, the Safe and Secure Communities 2016? Can I get a few details, please, on this?
Do you know that, Mrs. Sack?
This is a grant that we had been getting. We hadn't gotten it because we had gone under complement, but we're starting to get back to complement in the police department. So this is a $60,000 grant, and this is a Chapter 159 to amend the budget to bring in that $60,000 grant. It offsets a police officer's salary.
And it's called Safe and Secure Communities?
name of the
That's
grant.
like the program name?
Yes, back in the
Gotcha.
90s when the officers were hired, that was the name of the federal grant.
Okay, thank you.
321?
Oh, why is this 19-foot aluminum 10,000-pound car carrier, why do we need this? What's this for?
Frank, you mentioned this before, right?
New the, tow the what? Gotcha, okay.
322?
2 parts. What is the cost for this? And this is to do what? You know, the parking authority, to do what? And I don't see any costs on here.
Alexis?
This is an application just for the City of Linden to file with the local finance board to seek approval to see whether the board would approve us to create a parking authority. This has no cost associated with it at this time. This is just an application that we complete, that we send to the local finance board, the DCA. They review it and they say whether we are going to be able to form a parking authority or not.
And why do we want, or why do we need a parking authority? What's the remit of this authority?
There's various reasons why the city's been looking at this through our Revenue Enhancement Committee. One of the main ones is redevelopment. We have very many redevelopment projects that are occurring, and there's a need for parking. Presently, right now, our parking operations are running at a deficit. By having a authority, we would be able to have that run at a surplus. By shifting.
How so?
They're going to be shifting expenses and personnel costs, and the authority also has the capabilities of doing redevelopment work, and they're able to do separate bonding that municipalities cannot do. So there's a bunch of benefits for the parking authority, so that's what the council's right now is exploring.
So when you say redevelopment, we're going to be putting in more parking lots?
Could be a parking garage, it could be parking lots, it could be various
Or parking
redevelopment
facilities.
areas in need of redevelopment.
Right, and so are we a little bit more forward-thinking to know what's going to be the dollar value for this? I mean, someone's going to be compensated for this.
At this time, no, we're not. We're right now, we're just still doing the study, but we wanted to be proactive by requesting that the state take a look at what we're anticipating, and then we're going to look forward in the next month or two. If the state comes back and approves us, at that time, then we would have.
Right, and you would maybe anticipate this would just be one individual, or is this going to be a?
Presently, we envision one employee and 2 parking enforcement officers that would be shifted through an interlocal shared service agreement with the parking authority, and then a need to engage someone to manage the parking authority.
How many people do we have in our current parking enforcement, the people that ride on those little cars?
Presently, we have 3 parking enforcement officers, and we just posted for a 4th parking enforcement officer, and we have in Transportation and Parking Division 3 employees.
Okay, thank you.
333?
Oh, do we currently have cameras at the library? And then also, what prompted, you know, the library's been around for a couple of years. What prompted this?
Councilman Brown?
Maybe they asked me that one. Is that, I know Councilman Medina, he can speak more about the library and the issues. I guess this was a couple months ago, there was an issue with a gentleman. And so basically, the city did a whole total revamp of the camera system. And we want to include the library in this so that the police department would have more access. This is one of the tools and resources.
When you said revamp of what? Just step back.
Basically, we revamped our camera system throughout the city. We were with 3 or 4 different vendors, went through one vendor. Everything in our municipal buildings is being filtered down to the police department to give them greater access to this. So the library, we were on the fence of whether to include the library, but there was an incident that happened, I want to say maybe 2-3 months ago, that we decided, you know what, we should include the library in our.
And so besides just this incident, did we do some sort of a study to really warrant this, or?
You mean a study to see if it was needed?
Right.
I think, and I don't want to speak for Mr. Medina, but isn't there cameras already in that
Yes.
library?
Yes, there is, but.
So it's a matter of, you know, updating their cameras and us getting control over it.
That's why I asked, okay, so
Yeah.
we do have cameras there, and.
So what happens is that the vendor came in and at each location gave us a quote of how much it would cost for him either to replace those cameras, update those cameras, do new wiring, things of that nature. So analysis of that location was done.
Okay, so we're revamping our entire citywide security system in cameras.
Yes.
That's in a nutshell, okay.
337?
Oh, what is this about, the services, you know, to be provided? Because, you know, it's kind of strange, like, as I read it, so you have this company for marketing services to the city of Linden. So what's this all about?
Alexis?
This is a resolution that engages a company to come in and basically market and brand the city of Linden and bring continuity amongst all of our various entities. Right now, there's a need, the council feels, for a professional to come in and be able to look at the city as to what vision we want to have and bring in a uniform marketing company that has the expertise and wherewithal to send the message and have it as a unified message throughout the city.
All right, to make us more marketable, to
Yes.
bring in income, okay, revenue.
And 339, ma'am?
Oh, why now and what for?
Alexis?
This was a recommendation by the Office of Emergency Liaison and also the Finance Committee. The committee and the liaison had extensive meetings to discuss the topic of Office of Emergency Management. There's a critical employee that has been with the city since 1975 that does a tremendous amount of work above and beyond a normal workday. And because of her expertise, we're trying to now have her train after hours and during times of need, someone else that, in the event that she does retire, that someone else can come in and have the knowledge and wherewithal to perform the duties of public safety officer, information officer, with the FEMA documentation. This individual that is being awarded this stipend has countless knowledge and puts countless hours in above and beyond a normal workday, and they're anticipating her training is going to be quite extensive to find someone to be able to replace her.
So this stipend is going to go to the current person?
Yes.
And then, so she's going to get this other training, but I thought you already said that she's doing this. So it's just because she's stepping out of her
It's
normal,
above and beyond her normal workday. It's
Okay.
for the OEM capacity of the public information officer and also the FEMA documentation and the countless hours that she puts in.
And so the salary that this person is getting, when the next person steps in, is that stipend going to carry on to the next person?
That would be a decision for that governing body to make. At this point, it's just for this specific individual at this specific time. They're right now looking to revamp our entire Office of Emergency Management and put in different policies and procedures. Councilwoman Hickey's been working countless hours in trying to revamp the entire system.
And this stipend, is this going to be a yearly stipend?
It's an annual stipend, yes.
Very good, thank you.
Councilman Brown, you want to speak on this?
Ms. Zach, I don't know if you have the numbers offhand, or Ms. Hickey, but just to give an example of how valuable this employee is, can you, I guess, give a roundabout numbers as far as Sandy and Irene, how much money she brought back in to the city, everything from insurance to other things of that nature?
Are you at liberty to say who this individual is?
Oh, Kathy, the person with the 5,000 stipend. She's helped us.
No, Kathy, what?
Hogan. That's the 5,000 stipend that we're talking about.
No, but who's the individual's name? You said Kathy?
Mrs.
Colgan,
Malik,
sorry.
her name is Kathy Colgan. She actually works for the fire department. I actually never even knew she existed until Superstorm Sandy. Her knowledge throughout anything with first responders, all the FEMA money that we receive, whether it be during a federal or a state disaster or emergency, is beyond belief. I wanted a policy written up, to get more initiative with our OEM because they are first responders, and I wanted them to be taken care of. And she had this policy done for me like on a Friday night,
Right.
But
So-
every penny she gets back for the city. We've had companies try to come into the city saying, oh, they'll retrieve funds for us from FEMA. And I think Councilman Brown and our CFO Alexis can tell you, why bother? She'll get it all.
Right, so I think it would be a good idea. We're going to give her the stipend. She's already doing
incentive.
it.
She's
Wait,
so well
no, no.
deserves it.
Let me finish my point, but that this should be written up into maybe her job description. So we know that we have this individual. So she's already doing it.
Right, it's in
But yeah,
addition.
In addition, I think that would be good to complement her job description with that.
Excuse me, Council President, if I may? Thank you. She has a position with the city. That city position is under a collective bargaining agreement, a title of civil service. Everyone works under civil service. This OEM position is a separate position. It is not part of her civil service title, cannot run with her civil service title. It is separate and apart. That's why it's listed as separate and apart from her civil service title. In order to cover the FEMA funds, we need to have that as a separate position. And so, if I understood your questions, it does not run with her current civil service title. So if she decides at some point in time to no longer do OEM or retire from, not retire, but cease doing it at some point in time, or retire from her position and continue doing OEM, it's completely separate.
Divorce,
So-
I understand the reasoning. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Mallett. I need a motion for resolutions 301, 311, 319, 321, 322, 333, 337, and 339, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to make a motion for items 2016-301, 311, 319, 321, 322, 333, 337, and 339, and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes on all, except for 337. Last time we had a presentation by two firms. None of them gave us a price or a scope of work. They both had, interesting proposals, and I would just like to see a scope of work and a price of what they're going to be charging us. So I vote no.
Brown?
Yes to all, but to confirm, Ms. Zach, did we not get a scope of work and the price in regards to the resolution that Council, yes?
I didn't see one.
Chairman Brown, what was your question?
Did we not get a price and the scope of work in regards to the marketing firm?
Yes, there's been an RFQ that was submitted. The city clerk has a copy of it.
And we got a price? Or
Yes,
just-
it's not to
okay.
exceed 17.5.
Okay, so yes to all.
Yeah,
President, it was submitted as part of the RFQ process.
He's still holding his vote as no, and Peter said yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes to all.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
I'm voting no for 322 and 337, and I'm abstaining on 339, and yes to the rest.
Sorry. Councilwoman, what was the abstention on?
339.
Thank you.
Sadowski?
Yes to all.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. At this time, we have the ordinance first reading. The deputy clerk will please read ordinance number 60-68.
Bond ordinance amending bond ordinance number 5744, finally adopted by the City Council on August 20th, 2013.
Is there anyone wishing to make a comment? No questions? May I have a motion, please, to introduce the ordinance?
Thank you. Ordinance for, make a motion for introduction of ordinance 60-68, and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ms. Deputy Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-69?
Bond ordinance amending bond ordinance number 60-06, adopted by the City Council on March 15th, 2016.
Does anybody wish to make a comment on this ordinance? Can I have a motion to introduce the ordinance, please?
Council President, make a motion for introduction of ordinance 60-69, ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ms. Deputy Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-70?
An ordinance to amend an ordinance entitled, an ordinance establishing a schedule of titles, salary ranges, and regulations for maintaining the classification and salary standardization plan of all employees of the City of Linden, passed August 15th, 1995, and approved August 16th, 1995. Add public safety telecommunicator per diem, Schedule 4, KK7.
Does anybody wish to make a comment? No questions on this ordinance?
I'll make a comment.
Okay.
This ordinance, after our committee met and we talked about it, we're doing the same thing with this that we did the last 2 months ago with the truck drivers. In our police department, they are having a hard time getting people in the dispatch on a per diem temporary basis, so we call them as needed instead of paying overtime. We were offering $10 an hour, but we were looking for certified people. We weren't getting people. So our personnel committee, through the Chief Parham, recommended $15 per hour. The finance committee looked at it. We can afford this. So I'm hopeful that we'll get people that can come into dispatch with the qualifications and, you know, support our dispatch office. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, may I have a motion to introduce the ordinance, please?
I'd like to introduce ordinance 6070 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Abstain.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ms. Deputy Clerk, can you please read ordinance 6071?
An ordinance approving the application for a long-term tax exemption and authorizing the execution of financial agreement with SAMTD Acquisitions Linden Urban Renewal LLC.
Does anybody want to make a comment? No questions on this ordinance? Ms. Mallett, please.
For the apartment building that's across, that's on Wood Avenue, across from the fire department, if I'm not mistaken, that was given a tax exemption, and I thought I heard at one of the council meetings that we're not really getting, it wasn't the best financial decision for us. So I may be wrong, but from what I understand, like a long-term tax exemption, I think we have to be very careful on what we do with this. So I may be wrong. I forget what that apartment is called. I think everyone knows.
Meridian?
The Meridian, across from the main fire department, firehouse, is that?
the block
okay?
down, yes.
So I heard of that. So be careful with this, giving the tax exemption, or I can call it like a tax holiday. Just a caveat.
I thank you, ma'am. Can I have a motion to introduce the ordinance?
Council President, make a motion to introduce ordinance 71, sorry, and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
No.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
I'll abstain.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yamikaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. At this time, we go on comments from the public. Anybody wants to make a comment? Anybody put their name here? Okay, at this time, we have one gentleman. Mr. Mack?
Push the button.
Thank you, Council President. Mr. Mayor, President, City Council, members of council, Chief of Police. One of my greatest reasons for coming here tonight on my schedule because the people's encouraged me to bring encouragement to the police department in the city of Linden. And I wanted to make it my business to get here to bring the people's message to the chief of police and the mayor. But I heard something that I had to take immediately look at, but I'm going to stay focused, if you will, with the people's appreciation of the chief of police, the mayor, and their staff, how they have responded in the last 48 hours. The people is extremely pleased, and we want the chief of police to know, because of his keen, watch the language, his keen wisdom, watch the language in that now, I said keen wisdom and understanding of humanity. He was successful in having peoples on duty to do a fantastic job, which required the President of the United States of America to address their keenness, their wisdom, and understanding. Let's be crystal clear on that. The people said that they were grateful, and I personally walked the street, and I personally watched how the city treated the citizens, including me. We were very impressed with that, according to the peoples, and according to what my observation was. But something was brought to my attention that disturbed me, and it did not impress me, and I'm maybe a little off course of the terms of the people. Watch the language. I may be a little off course. But the bottom line is this. Look, right there, I'm looking about right there. If the chief of police made a request in order for him to fix a job, I'm talking to the ones that did it now, I'm talking to you. If the chief of police came to the mayor, came to you, Mr. President of City Council, and made a suggestion to you, you're talking to y'all, I'm talking to the mayor, I'm talking to you, and I'm talking to the one that voted against it. Look at that wall. if somebody can't come in here and fix that wall unless they have the tool or the material to fix it with. Am I right? About that? They can't fix that wall. It's right here in our own chamber that something has to be fixed. Am I right? About that? So how can the chief of police, I'm talking to you, Mayor, and you. I'm talking to you who voted against it. I'm talking to you. How in the world can the chief fix that which is broken if you don't have the tools to fix it with? How can the man put a roof on a house if he ain't got the material to do it with? I respectfully submit. The answer is no, according to humanity. You can't ask nobody to do a job without the tool to fix it with. If he, I'm talking about the chief, has analyzed and have more knowledge than we have, he's keen enough to be in contact with all four corners of the earth. Watch the language. All four corners of the earth that he has to do the job for to protect us. Who have the audacity to change the policy? That's the bottom line. If the chief said it, then let's review it. Let's analyze it to the fullest extent. Look what happened to us under leadership of our police department. Fast, quick, and in a hurry. Because they were keen, wise, and understandable. And we still tied up. And you mean to tell me the chief asked y'all to do something and somebody had the audacity? Watch the language. Not to analyze what the chief said and review it? I know what you're getting ready to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mack. At this time, can I have a motion to close the public comments, please?
Motion.
Motion. Heard. Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yamakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Anybody in the council, in the governing body, anybody wants to make a comment? Hold on a minute. I remind you, it's only 1 minute. Mayor, why don't we start with you? You're not going to repeat yourself, right? Councilwoman Norman?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just real quickly, to the residents of the First Ward, in my newsletter, I will include some information pertaining to the not passing of the deputy chief position and explain to you how much having this position will save us, how much we have spent out because of risk management. And also, I was surprised it didn't pass because yesterday we sat in council and we all said, oh, Chief, we're going to give you what you want. You're the best person to tell us what you need. We're going to support this, only to find out that it didn't go that way. So I want to personally say to Chief Parham that when I say that I'm going to give you what you need to be successful, you can count on me to make sure that I live up to that, being completely transparent. It's easy to look a person in the face and say one thing, but then when our backs are turned, do another.
Thank you,
That's it.
Councilwoman.
That's okay, I don't need more time. I said my piece.
Councilman Byer?
Yeah, I voted no for deputy chief. I did a little survey. I went around asking police officers what their thoughts were about a deputy chief. Not one of them said that, yeah, we need one right away. But they did say that we need our complement up. We need police officers on the street. And that's the answer I got from everybody I talked to, interviewed. I talked to the chief of police. I have an email here, but I'm not going to disclose the email because it's my personal email from the chief of police. And this is why I said I'm not in for a deputy chief at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Brown?
Okay, so on the same topic, here's a funny thing. For the last 2 years, the lowest tax rate increase in Linden for the last 10 years. and at the same time, we've hired the most cops. So the argument here, as far as not having a deputy chief because we have to hire more cops, the proof is in the pudding, folks, is that we've hired cops in June and January of this year. So we're handling it on this end. My frustration is this, is that when a guy who is scores the highest in his state on the captain's test, who has training expertise throughout not just the country, but throughout the world, and has proven himself to be a leader, asks for something, especially in his department, you give it to him. My frustration is this: who are we to tell him how to run his department when he has proven years, since 1992, what an excellent police officer he has been? And they say that he needs to get his feet wet. I'm sorry, I disagree with this, is that he's come with brilliant ideas over the years that everyone in this community is proud of. And
Thank you,
at the same
Councilman.
time,
Councilman Brooks?
Thank you, Council. This has nothing to do, in my view, because I agree with you, Councilwoman Yamakaitis, in terms of your vote, as is mine. I don't care who sits at that table, but front, but side, or any place else. I vote my conscience as I see it. When someone talks to me and tells me that we have shots fired in the 4th Ward and we need additional people in the 4th Ward, police officers in that 4th Ward, I intend to vote for what is best for that ward. And I don't care who questions it. It is their right to question it. I have no concern that way. It is my right to vote my conscience, and that's exactly what I did, and that's exactly what I'm always going to do. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Brooks. Councilwoman?
Yes, I wanted to just mention that if I heard Mr. Krowicki correctly, I think he said that the bus is going to leave at 10 o'clock for the Pulaski Parade. And also, just to clarify the personnel report, I thought I was complimenting you, Councilwoman, for your input. I didn't mean to offend you, and in no way did I intend to seem as if I were bullying you. I thought it was a great suggestion, so if I offended you, I apologize. I gave the report 2 months ago in brief because there were so many things to read. The council president said to me, can't you just do everything in one shot? That's what I did. Unfortunately, a gentleman or whoever pretends to be Rudy Garcia on Facebook, who's friends with quite a few council members, came after me, attacking me, telling me that I had a secret. I was accused of hiring my nephew and all kind of stuff. So going forward, I don't care how many items are on the report. I'm going to read each one of them just for transparency.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Sorry.
Councilwoman Yamakaitis?
Thank you, Council President. This council charged our new police chief of running that police department. I don't want to put a damper on the evening, but we did a turnaround this past month as appointing Chief Parham as our police chief. And if we don't give him the tools he requests to run that department and make it right, we can't expect this police department to move forward. Yesterday, everybody are cheerleaders for the police department, but, you know, we got lucky. He needs the tools to be able to stay lucky and run this city. And I just want to make mention, Mr. Mack, my phone is blowing up here for you. It said, please thank Mr. Mack. Best part of the night. Can we please get him an amen? That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilwoman Yamakaitis. Councilwoman, you too? What? Okay. Councilman Sadowski?
Okay, real quickly, usually I don't talk at this 1 minute, but I voted yes because we voted new police chief, and this is what he wants. How can he be successful if you don't give him what he wants? And secondly, I guess I'm being a little selfish. With what he wants, he's going to make it safer for the police. And like I said before, I have a son on the police force, and I want him to be as safe as he can be. So that's why I said yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Hickey?
Well, the chief has been here for 3 weeks. If you look at his credentials, he probably doesn't even need captains or lieutenants to run this department because he's that well educated. I did vote no, but I need to tell everybody tonight, since last year I started on council, this is already what I have to put up with on Facebook from the mayor's wife. Not giving the chief the tools that he needs to effectively run his police department should not supersize us. As a matter of fact, it is to be expected, for he is the first African-American chief. Nothing has changed since the days of slavery. They will say it is about money when we know the truth. Well, Mrs. Armstead, I hope this isn't what you're teaching our children in school.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hickey. Mayor.
All I ask is that we give the chief the tools that he needs to run an effective police department. Nothing more, nothing less. Councilman Byers, I heard you mention earlier that you spoke to some police officers. If you have a time in your schedule, please call my office tomorrow. Stop by and see me. I'd like to talk to those officers if they in fact exist. I want to say that the stench of politics permeates this room, and it smells bad. That's it.
Thank you.
Say that.
I'm not going to say anything.
The fish stinks from the head. That's what.
The following council meetings will be as follows. Excuse me? Chief? You want to speak, Chief? Yes. You got 1 minute, sir.
Thank you, Council President. On behalf of the Linden Police Department, the men and women, the dispatchers, the support staff, we want to thank everybody for supporting us over the last couple of hours. We hope that that support is just not specific to an incident, but is specific to the fact that we have been putting our lives on the line for as long as we've been here. I know it's not going to be politically correct, but I'm not going to talk about the deputy chief position because I think it's kind of divisive right now. And moving forward, I'd like to see us all work together to do three things. The mission of our police department right now is to reduce violent crimes, to reduce burglaries, and to enhance community policing. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. The following council meetings will be as follows. Council conference Monday, October 17th, 2016 at 6 p.m. in the council conference room, City Hall 301 North Wood Avenue. Council conference meeting prior to the council meeting Tuesday, October 18th, 2016 at 6 p.m. in the council conference room, City Hall 301 North Wood Avenue. Council meeting Tuesday, October 18th, 2016 at 7 p.m. in the council chamber, City Hall 301 North Wood Avenue. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Fire?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yamikaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Good night, everybody. Should be getting paid for babysitting.